Good morning, everybody. So, what I figured I would start with is a lot of people ask me, how did I start on this journey working as a medium or psychic? I don't love the term psychic, but I have to use it. It's better understood. And it's really been something that I feel I was born into. I'm a firm believer that certain people have certain doorways open when they're born. I feel all children are receptive to spiritual energy. Uh, Almost all kids can perceive spiritual energy until they're between like 4 and 6 years old, and then the doorway just kind of shut on some of them. For other people, they stay open. It's like a revolving type of door for some people, whereas others it just kind of slams shut and they have no memory of it, or they go, I have a vague memory of, like, I thought I saw a ghost in my bedroom, or I saw my grandmother, but my grandmother died before I was born. Those type of things. I experienced that with my own son. As a child, he kept saying the man on the stairs, and my father-in-law had died before my son was born. And when he was old enough, he pointed out pictures, and he's like, that was the man on the stairs. Also with him, my sister's very close person in her life had passed away. And the next day, my son kept saying, why is he playing with your hair? Why does he keep touching your hair? And we were like, because he didn't know he had died the day before. And I said, what is he wearing? And he described the outfit he had passed away in. My son, I think, was about 3 at the time. After the age of 6, that ability pretty much seemed like it disappeared. For myself, I remember things as a child. I remember having an imaginary friend. I truly believe to this day, I should say, that imaginary friends are spirit energy that we see as children. I remember talking in my room repeatedly to a woman, I believe her name was Roseanne, that I would chat away with, and she was wearing this little black outfit. And I remember now looking back and saying she was actually an adult woman that was child sized, so I think she wouldn't scare me. So as far back as I can remember, I've been able to see, sense, or hear spirit energy. I had many strange occurrences that people will call paranormal as a child, as a teenager. My abilities never really fully went away, but what I did do was I blocked them. Um, I didn't want to know when people were going to die because I felt like I couldn't do anything to stop it, so what was the purpose in knowing it? I read books from the library. I remember being a teenager and sitting in the library on the floor in the occult and the supernatural section and reading everything I could get my hands on. While my friends were running and getting like Judy Blume books, I was reading books about Edgar Cayce and the supernatural realms and like the Salem witch trials. Now I know why. But it's a thing where I learned how to wake myself up during dreams. I did a practice of waking myself up every hour with my timer, so that I could have lucid dreams, that I could actually go in and interact in my dreams. And I learned how to do that for a long time. It's like watching your own dream through a window and going in through the window and going, okay, wake up. This is only a dream. I came fully into my abilities about 8 or 9 years ago, as a product of an illness where I have a disorder that I'm blind in my left eye, and I had a period where I lost the vision for a short period of time in my right eye. And as a joke, I kind of said, to the powers that be up there, um, I'm kind of blind right now, and if you give me back my vision, I'll use those gifts that I have. And I always joke with my clients, and I say I went blind to see. I did get my vision back in my right eye. I do not have my vision in my left eye. But quite often we go through a period of something life-changing. They call it the dark night of the soul, where you have to go through some trauma and tragedy, and you suffer and you deal with things that are not comfortable for you to deal with, and you face your own darkness. You may be forced to face this darkness, but if you go through it in a therapeutic process of healing, I really suggest finding a mentor when you're going through that. I was working very heavily with a couple different people in my life at the time. And when you come out at the end of it, you realize you're on a brand new path that you were supposed to be on. It's your choice whether or not you embrace that path or just kind of go the other way. And throughout life, you're going to have diversions off that path and try to get back on it. Um, and I started doing this, a handful of years ago professionally, working as a medium. I've had crazy, crazy intense experiences. I have had I can honestly say the psychic shows you see on TV are very hard to believe for me because of the extreme drama. Yes, I'm from Long Island, but I am not the Long Island medium. I'm not going to go into a store and be like, excuse me, I have the ability to speak to the dead, and I want you to know that your father, who was a fireman, is standing behind you. If you ever watch that show, you have to realize not one person in the room is reacting to her. Other people going about their business. The person she goes up to is not looking at the cameraman behind her. So that tells you something. It tells you that it's already prearranged. I fully believe she has abilities, but that's not the way it goes. I have spirits that come to me if I'm out to eat somewhere, if I'm in an environment with other people around me, and they're like, that's my sister. Go talk to her. Do you know how hard it is to walk up to somebody and say to them, I'm sorry, but I believe I'm talking to somebody that's your brother that passed away, and I'm being asked to bring you a message? I sound crazy, and I might be violating a person's religious beliefs. And what ends up happening is they will keep talking and talking and talking at me until finally it gets so loud, I may actually have to go over to that person and say, excuse me, I hope I'm not offending you in any way. And if I'm going to say something, it might create some emotion in you, but I need to convey a message. And if you don't want to hear it, that's fine. I apologize. But if you do, that's fine too. I've done this a couple of times and I've never had somebody turn me away. It's a pivotal moment where they need that because they're in acute grief or they've been holding on to something for a really long time that they needed to release. But I am not the type of person that will walk up to somebody and just be like, hey, I can hear spirits and I need to give you this message. The shows you watch, the ghost hunting shows, I have a really hard time with those as well. So people that look at me and go, oh, well, you're a medium, so you believe in all that stuff. I believe a lot of it is entertainment. I used to watch Ghost Hunters. I feel that's the one show that really did well with debunking nonsense. Electric, what do you call it, EMF frequencies, those are real. I have found when I walk through somebody's house, I can go right to their circuit breaker in their house. It pulls me right to it. So if somebody says, I'm constantly having activity, I'm being haunted by my laundry area, I look at them and I say, by chance, is your circuit breaker box in that area? They're like, yes. How did you know that? Because it's setting off higher frequencies of electric, and our body is run off of electric impulses. So when you put those two things together, it's like when the hair stands up on your arm, when you get goosebumps, it's the same concept. I have yet to walk through somebody's house and say, oh, there's a demon in here. There's an evil woman that lives in your house and she wants to chop off everybody's heads like you see on a lot of these ghost hunting shows. What I get is, your grandma might be in this house and she's trying to communicate with you because you can't pick her up. She's making a lot of noise. There is no mass murderer that's residing in the home that's going to kill all the people in it because they want their home back. That has not been my experience. My experience has been if there's emotional turmoil within the home, that is what is creating all this spiritual activity. It's the person's own energy or the people's own energy that's creating it around them. Yes, I pick up spiritual energy. Yes, I pick up people from the other side. Yes, I pick up past lifetimes that may have resided in the house. But I have yet to say there's a demon in your house. Your house is possessed. It's going to try to kill you. None of that. And I'm sorry to disappoint people that love those shows. They are entertainment value. And I don't discredit people that have these horrible things that happen in their home. But it's kind of like the Amityville Horror House. I live in Long Island. They now say the person that wrote that story, it was all a fraud. It was to sell the man's house. He wanted to create drama, and he admits now it was all made up. The man that lived in the house before that was a person that had suffered from mental illness. He used drugs. It put him into a psychotic state, and he killed his family. He may have been hearing voices, but I believe they said he was schizophrenic. It was not that they left the home and then the next family that moved in was possessed and the family after that. There've never, ever been activity in that house. So how did I get on this journey? By going blind. And I realized I needed to help people with the gift. Yes, it's a gift. Yes, it can be a curse as well at times, but I realized from being a nurse and working with some cases of terminally ill patients that the families need a lot of help. the patient tends to have accepted their fate. The patient's families are the ones that are struggling so deeply. And my first intention was to help people come out of that acute grief state and into a place of healing. I am not a healer. I help people empower themselves to heal themselves. I don't ever say I'm way up here as a healer and you're down here like normal. That's not who I am. And it's super important to me that people understand I am not healing you. I am, what I always say to people is, I leave you the breadcrumbs to get on your path of healing. I am not some, magical being that can heal you. And I have a lot of people that come to me afterwards and they say, you have no idea how much you helped me. I'll always be indebted to you. That's the reward for me, is knowing the effect I can have in people's lives to get them in a better place of mind, a better emotional state. So why I created this channel on YouTube was so I can help as many people as possible, including myself. I will do all different meditations on here. I will teach stress techniques. I will teach breathing techniques, so to de-stress, obviously. Breathing is super, super important. Meditation is the key to everything for me. I'll show you what chanting is. All different modalities. And when we come out of this lovely quarantine that we're in right now because of COVID, I would like to really actually have sessions with other people in my community and other people that have modalities to help with healing and spiritual well-being. I would like to have almost like little, coffee chats with them and maybe have them share your experiences and their experiences. And I just think it's something that it's the right time for me to be doing this right now. So I will do my first couple of videos on morning meditation, saging, how to clean out negativity from your environment. And I'm also going to teach some breathing techniques. So I appreciate all of you that are watching this video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. People seem fascinated by how I got on this journey, or what was my most profound experience, what was my weirdest experience, did I ever experience like things happening during my readings? Constantly. I constantly have spiritual things happen during my readings. That the spirit energy is letting you know, like, hey, I'm here. It's also to let their loved one know that they're here, so they can physically have a sensation of knowing, okay, that flicker of the light over there, or that thing that just fell off the shelf while we were talking, or just something like that. Whatever questions you have, please reach out and I will be happy to answer as best as I can. The one thing I'll tell you is I'm very down to earth. I'm very straightforward. You're not going to hear me talk in a way that is very up here and where you won't be able to understand it. And I wish you all good health. Everybody stay healthy right now. And I hope I can help you guys find a spiritual path of peacefulness and resolve and healing and meditation. This is primarily going to be mostly about meditation, but I will talk about experiences spiritually as well. I'm even thinking sometimes of maybe doing little interviews with my clients so they can share their experience. I'm even thinking I might do a recorded session with somebody, a quick one, so people can see exactly what I do and the person on the receiving end, what their experience is, and it can answer a lot of questions. So have a great day. And again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and maybe let your friends and family know that this might be something they're interested in. Have a beautiful day.